Hi, today we are going to be reading an informational text together. But before we start our book, I want us to look at a few words that you're going to come across that you probably already know, but they might be a little bit tricky to decode. So let's look at our first word. Our first word is riders. Riders. Now in our book today, we're going to have some bicycle riders. Our next word is pedal. Pedal. I want you guys to look at that. We have pedal. Our bike riders are also going to pedal. Another word I want you guys to look at is a pretty big word. Accident. Accident. Okay. I know you've heard this word before, but sometimes when we read it, it can be a little tricky. So that's what our word looks like. Accident. Another word you're going to come across when you read is tracks. Now, this word can mean a lot of things, and I'm going to have you figure out what it means. You could have tracks like railroad tracks. There could be tracks on the ground like animal tracks. There could be, sometimes your teacher might ask you to track while you read, so you need to follow something. Okay, so I want you to read and see. Is it something I find on the ground that I follow? Is it a train drives on? You're going to try to figure that one out. Okay, another word we have is helmets. You're going to see that word when you read today. And the final word that you're going to come across too, that I know you have seen before, is practice. I want you to pay attention to this ending, is, okay? Because those are lots of words. Practice, okay? We're going to see. All right, so I'm going to share my screen so that way you guys can see our book that we're reading. Give me 1 minute, guys. And remember, I said that we are going to be reading a informational book. So I want you to think in your brains, what does that mean if we are reading an informational book? All right, here we go. I am going to share my screen and we are going to go ahead, and before you start reading, we're going to do a picture walk. Okay, so look at this first, our cover, BMX Bikes. I want you to touch your nose if you've ever heard of BMX bikes. Ooh, a lot of you, and some of you haven't, and that's okay. I look at this bike. It looks pretty similar to bikes I see my friends riding, but those men look mighty big for that little bitty bike. I'm wondering, is that a special bike? Let's go ahead, picture walk together. All right. Okay, look here. It looks like I see a man riding on a bike, and that bike does look kind of small, right? Let's keep going. Wow, there's a lot of people riding bikes and doing things I have never done on a bike. They're jumping up so high. Questions, okay? All right, let's keep walking through our book to see what all we're going to see. Wow, look at the crowd here. There's quite an audience. So that tells me that people must come to see this event. That is pretty neat. And I can tell that this is a photograph. This was taken with a camera. Wow. Okay, looking at our next page. Looks like this bicyclist is doing a pretty fancy jump. I know I would be much too scared to jump like that. All right, let's keep looking. Now this is interesting, and I'm curious. I see a photograph a lot like what the author's already shown us, but look at this. It's like they zoomed in really close so I could see something. Looks like a bike tire. Wonder what in the world the author's trying to teach me there. You're gonna have to read to find that out. Let's keep doing our picture walk and see what is next. Oh, another photograph. It looks like they must be racing. Or maybe they're trying to see who can jump the highest. I don't know. We will have to read to find out. Oh, this is different too. I got another photograph of a cyclist jumping. But look at this. Does anybody know what this is called when you're reading an informational text and the author does this? Guys and girls, these are called labels. The author is labeling the bikers, it looks like, glove, glasses, helmets, arm pad, leg pad, knee pad. That sounds like things that might keep the biker safe. And look, they're showing me where it belongs. We're gonna have to see how that matches up to the text later. All right. So Guys and girls, what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video and you are going to read on your own to learn more about BMX bike racing. Okay, so just a minute when I say go, you're going to hit pause and you're going to go read. Now, you might be reading by yourself, but if you have somebody at your house, I want you to read with them, even if it's a little brother or sister, because everybody loves a good story. Okay, when you finish reading, come back to the video and unpause. All right, hit pause and go read. Welcome back. Who learned something new about BMX bikes? I know I did, and it had a lot of information. So I'm definitely going to want to read this again and look for more details. Okay, guys and girls, I want you, if you have your book open still, I want you guys to turn to this page right, oh, I just passed it, right here, page 2 at the very beginning, because today I just want us to look at a word. Now, the word that I want us to look at, remember the word that I showed you before, not that one, whoops, is practice. I want you to take your mouse or your finger and put in practice. Very good. Now let's read it in a sentence. BMX riding looks easy, but it takes a lot of practice. We read what all they can do, right? Yeah, you would definitely have to practice a lot. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to think about that word practice. Let me get the video to come back to me. I want you to look at what that word ends with, okay? It ends with ice, right? But I don't say practice, do I? I don't. When I see ICE at the end of the word, it makes that same sound like in practice, okay? So I want to think of another word that has that same ending, okay? So I might have the word see if you can read that with me. Off is. That's right. When it's at the end of the word, it makes that is sound, okay? Maybe you've been down to your school's office, or maybe one of your parents has an office that they work in, okay? Let's look at another word that has the same ending. Read it with me. Sir, this, right there. That is sound. Okay, so this is something that when we're reading, we can keep an eye out for. If we see this at the end word, we're going to know what sound it makes. So all I have to do is decode that beginning sound. I want to challenge you and see if you can think of any other words that end in that sound. And if you can't, maybe you just keep an eye out as you read and see if you see any of those words. All right, guys and girls, we're going to continue with this book again later because we're not done with it yet. It just had too much good information. Until next time, bye-bye.